Welcome to part 2 of the Wanli Chang Chang tutorial. Today we're going to be building the Gatehouse module behind us there. So let's get started. Alright, so if you remember from part 1, I talked about how the wall here is really broken up into a series of modules for you to place in whatever configuration in your world that you want to build one of these. And the first thing we're going to do is start with the biggest one, which is of course going to be the Gatehouse module. Right here. Now, one of the reasons it's big is because you're going to be building comparatively few gatehouses in comparison to watchtowers in the wall behind there, and even more wall segments behind that there. So what we're going to do is, in this part, we're going to do the entire gatehouse right here. And then in part 3, we're going to do the tower module. And then in probably part 4, we are going to do this wall module here, and I'll explain more in depth about all the crazy wall shapes and that one towards the end of that to finish up. Let's start, of course, with the gatehouse. We're going to be going slice by slice, one block at a time, like we always do. And this is quite tall, so this is going to be going to take a little while to do. Let's see, where do we want to start? Well, the first thing we want to do is lay down the foundation. You remember all these blocks in here, these are filler blocks, just like so. You don't have to build these. These are just going to be extra blocks. I will include these if you want to fill it in solid with something. But yeah, that's going to be in the materials list that will have been in the first opening slide of the video. That's where I put those for easy reference, but it's probably going to be 3 or 4 pages of material. So we got quite a varied number of those here. So let's start, I think, well, let's see. This building here, if we draw a center line from, excuse me, Mr. Chicken. Trying to do a tutorial here. 1, 2, 3. So find the center line of the building. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. There we are. Alright, so if we draw a little red carpet here and extend the line out back that way, that's going to be our center line dividing the module in twain. And what you're going to find is, as we go through the building, it's actually going to be, this left side here is going to be symmetrical to the right side, okay? So if I go over here a little ways, you can see the next phase. You know, we've got what you build on the right side here is going to be a mirror image of what we built on the left side. Right there. See, nice clean line of symmetry right down the middle of it. So as we go, I'm going to be focusing on probably the left half over here. But all you have to do is build the right half just the same on the other side of your red center line right there. Okay? Alright. So starting from our center line, here are the block measurements. We want to leave 1 block there. We want to go out for 1... for what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get to there. Then we have 3 blocks there. Turn the corner for 3 blocks again. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Turn the corner for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then these 2 blocks there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 more there. And this is going to be wall filler back in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 3. Turn the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those 2 blocks right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And turn the corner. 1, 2, 1. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think if we did that, this should be coming around through here, or it's going to be right on our center line. Okay, so that's all the initial measurements you need. Now, as with the foundation measurements, remember that it's quite literally foundational. So you want to measure out all these numbers 3 times. If you want to live dangerously, you can try and measure it 1 time, but you know, good luck with that. If you end up being off by 1 block, it's not going to be my fault. You've been warned. So here we have the next section. I'll just show that to you from profile at the top down. If you want to double check my numbering. The filler blocks here, these are all these seamless double half slab things. And the texture pack I'm using gives us the measurements for all of those. So what I did over here was I gave you the interior measurements for that to start off with. And you can see just in front of that is going to be where we place the cobbled deep slate. So let's now take the measurements of that, starting with this block here around the center line for 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 blocks. Turn the corner, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 back in there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 3 blocks there, and then skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks, and do the same again. 1, 2, 3, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 blocks to bring us right back on the center line, right there through the building. So there's both measurements if you want to count the interior fill blocks, or if you want to start with the exterior first. I would probably default to using the exterior counting first with the deep slate. And then you can just forget about all the other blocks. You can see here we just have a very simple rectangle with two nibbles on all the 4 corners there. And that's going to be the interior of your gate. Now I have left quite a lot of interior space here, as you can see. I've done this because if you wanted to, or if you're capable of, I'm not capable of, but if you are capable of building one of those automatic flying slime block gateways or something, this would be a good place to put some of those. And if you only want to build one of those, you could, I suppose, instead of building 2 gateways on either end, you could just build one, just straight down the middle there too. That could work. The interior of the gateway is pretty basic, so you can do that. I'll leave it up to you to determine if that's what you want to do. So let's mark down our center line right here. That looks about right. And for the gate, we want to place down some spruce right there, all the way to the edges. And now for the cobbled deep slate and the diorite, just like so. Now that we've done all of the laborious counting out for the foundation phase, the rest of it is going to be building off of that 1 block level at a time. And that's how the tutorial is structured out. And of course you have all the interior blocks here to serve as a double counting measure, just in case. Remember that, remember I warned you to count it a couple of times so you don't get off by 1 on that phase. Alright, here's the other side of the gateway here, so we want to build, of course, the right side just the same as we did the left, just mirror image on the other side of the red center line. We got quite a ways to go, so we better get a move on. Torch there on the center line, and here for the gateway we have some combinations of wood tree trunks and full bark blocks, just like so, and of course some stone buttons on what is going to be both sides of the doorway, I think. Just like so. Now you can use any kind of button for that if you want. It doesn't have to be stone. I chose all the cheap ones, materials-wise, for this one. For this next phase here, what we're doing mostly is stacking up the diorite for another level. Just like so. Not much counting. Just take the previous block layer you did and extend everything up by 1. Okay? And do the same on the right side as well. Alright, next phase here, spruce straight across the middle for the gateway. And again, down here for the large block foundation level, we can see, go back over here, we can see on the bottom, we've got some large blocks before we go to the smaller ones for the ashlar blocks for the wall itself. But you can see here for this next phase, you're just extending everything straight up. All the diorite and the cobbled deep slate, just like so, just straight up, based on what you previously built on both sides of your center line. Now let's go on to the next phase here. We've got another one of these. This level here is just like what we did back down here. Like so. And here for the interior, we're extending up the cobbled deep slate and the deep slate tiles for the barrel vault inside. And for the exterior, we are now getting to the level where we want to start building our blocks for our wall. So we're cutting back the diorite just a little bit. Just like so. And the cobbled deep slate is being extended up. Alright, let's go on to the next phase here. Working a little dark prismarine for the doorway. In my Asian themed builds, I really like to use dark prismarine and prismarine also, but mostly dark prismarine because it's kind of got a jade characteristic to it. Of course, we don't have a block of jade in Minecraft, but if we did want one, I think dark prismarine is a pretty good substitute for that. You can see behind here what we're doing now. We're alternating for the mortar levels. We're doing the cobbled deep slate, as you can see down here. Pretty simple layers. And then after this, we're going to be alternating between 2 levels of diorite and then another mortar level of cobbled deep slate. Now, I think on the actual Great Wall, it's they used rice mortar, so it was more of a white characteristic, and the bricks were baked, so they had more of a gray characteristic. But for this, I did try to do it that way, but it really looks a lot better if we reverse the coloring and have the cobbled deep slate for the mortar and the diorite for the bricks. But if you wanted to do a little bit more accurate one, you could reverse those materials if you wanted to. All right, here, detailing for the gateway. Just like so. You can see here we now have the diorite hanging out a block. And the cobbled deep slate behind that inset by a block. And that's because on this scale, we want to make our walls look a little bit more three-dimensional. So if you'll notice over here, what I've done is I pushed all the blocks out by 1 block, and the mortar level is sunk a block backwards. But you know, because it's Minecraft, we have exaggerated the size and projection of the blocks to give a more satisfying feeling, I think. Definitely looks good from a distance. You can tell it's you know, it's supposed to be a solid brick wall. All right, let's keep going. We got a lot to cover. So torch on center line there. Details for the gateway right there. And then let's take a look over here at the block and mortar levels. For this level, you're pretty much extending up the previous one, actually. Just like so. Alright, that's the other side of it. So let's go on to the next phase. Same detailing for the doorway, straight up, just like that. And over here we've got another mortar level. With, of course, our cobbled deep slate for mortar. And you can see here how we have the individual blocks jutting out. And I should remark actually at this level here, and indeed for pretty much the rest of the building, if we wanted to, I've talked about the center line going down this way, but if we rotate it 90 degrees and we draw a center line going down that way, we will find that 1/4 of this building is going to be the same as the other 3/4. They've just been rotated 90 degrees. See? I think you can see that right there. All right, next phase, detailing for the gate. And here we have another block level. All right, next phase, simple detailing for the gateway right there. And for this section here, we're just extending up the previous phase that we did with the diorite and the cobbled deep slate. It's just being stacked up by one more block level. All right, next phase here, same detailing for the doorway. Except we're kind of forming a little arch over our doorway now, so we've got a little overhanging cobbled deep slate right there on either side. And back inside here as well for a little bit of deep slate, and then for the tiles on both sides. For the exterior, we've got another mortar level. All right, next phase. It looks an awful lot like the last phase. Did I miss slice? Yep, these are exactly the same height. It looks like I messed that one up. So we're going to skip over that one because we just did it, and we're going to go on to this one here. Yeah, there we are. So this is the actual next phase. Got some buttons up there, extending up the cobbled deep slate. Same for the interior. And for the exterior, we have another block level. All right, next phase, just spruce planks straight across there, and then extend up the cobbled deep slate and the deep slate tiles. Extend up the block level. Like so, and we would go on to the next phase. All right, almost done with our gateway. 3 blocks of spruce, and then the cobbled deep slate for the archway. On top of that, on both sides. And on the interior, we've got a little bit more overhanging deep slate tiles just right there. And on the exterior, we've got another block. Wait. Oh. That's going up 2 levels. Oops. Okay, yeah, that should have been, I thought the interior hadn't gone up a block level yet. Okay, well, I made a mistake with the slicing, so we're going to have to take a slower look on this, and we're going to have to build a 2 block level right here, a 2-block slice for this one. I normally like to do these in 1-block slices. I started out when I made tutorials to do 2-block slices, but it was a little bit too much for some people. So we had to go down to 1 block at a time, even though it almost doubles the length of the video. But I think if I go real slow, you will be able to see what we've got going on here. The walls aren't that complicated that I think the 2-block would throw you. So. Right there, let's drop down here, take another look. We've got just a standard mortar level, and then another block level on top of that. Okay, and on the interior here, we've got 2 layers of deep slate tiles going across there for the interior barrel vault. Okay, so let's take a look at the rest of it. It's just the same. Remember, it's once I show you a quarter of it, the other 3 quarters are the same. They're just rotated 90 degrees each time they've been built. Gotta love that double symmetry. Alright, the next phase here is for sure 1 block level, so let's take a look at that. Got some deep slate straight across there to finish off our little archway. On the interior here, same deal. 2 blocks of deep slate just going straight across now. Deep slate tiles, that is. And on the exterior here, we've got the standard patterns of the diorite and the deep slate. Alright, going on to the next phase here. Capping off our archway with some cobbled deep slate straight across there. At the top. And we're also finishing off our barrel vault by capping off the entire thing with a big rectangle of deep slate tiles with some cobbled deep slate on either end there. Just like, well, you can't see that, but just like so. And out front here, capping off with the deep slate and a bit more diorite for the outer edges of the archway. And then another mortar level. And we're getting ready to start, I think we're going to be pretty soon building some of the crenellations on top of the wall. So we've got some overhanging cobbled deep slate there, so bear that in mind. Alright, of course the back gateway is just a copy of the one at the front. So let's move on to the next phase, where you can see we've now finished off the interior. It's all filler blocks now. So the exterior here, we're just going to extend some diorite across there, straight across the front for the archway. And then the rest of it's diorite and deep slate. Mostly diorite though. Alright, making pretty good time. The walls aren't that complicated. Well, I've slowed down a bit when we get to the structure on top of it, though. It's got a lot of detail in it. So their torch on the center line, and let's take a look at the wall structure now. These are really the easy phases. It starts very simple. then it gets progressively more complex as we get to the crest on top of the roof. With those very curvy and difficult to design Asian style roofs. All right, next phase, torch on the central line. Add in our deep slate here. Just like so. Next phase, torch on the center line. All right, next phase here, torch on the center line. And you can see we've got a lot of deep slate tiles back down here, and that's because we're getting to the level where this is actually the first of the floors that you can walk on. So you remember during the tour, well, it's way out of view over there, but during the tour we had several rooms interior to the structures that I included for you. So what we're going to do is let's take a look at the exterior first, and then we're going to pan around the interior. And that's going to be our pattern for the rest of the video. Exterior first, and then interior. Note the buttons. And you can use the filler blocks to get the accurate counts. You want to do the edges of the deep slate tiles first, and then just fill in the interior with solid slabs of it. Right here we have, this is going to be the tiles at the top of the wall that you can walk on your battlements for, behind your crenellations. Just like so. Quick look at the interior now. Because all we're doing now is building just a big square floor with some indentations here and there. All right, let's move on to the next phase, a little bit more complicated now. We can see that we're building now the post bases for the interior structural support of the building. Because we don't have nice Roman technology to do that with, we have to use a lot of wood beams and everything, so we have to have a lot of posts as well. It's really a post, beam, and lintel construction. For the lower sections, anyway. It gets more complicated with, like, three-dimensional Lincoln log type things as we get to the roof sections. All right, note the fences here. I think you don't actually have deep slate tile fences. Those don't exist. I think I actually use netherite. Netherite fences don't exist either. Nether brick is what I used for these, but in the texture pack, they're deep slate tiles. In fact, I don't know why there are extra blocks there. I think I must have left that on for a reason, but anyway, you want to build it like how it was. But anyway, let's take a look at the exterior sections and then the interior. Slowly pan around and look at everything. Torch on our center line. Now let's reverse that and take a look at the interior. I really wonder why I left that there. That may be where some of the ladders went. I don't quite recall. And oh, okay. I think I have made a mistake with some of this. Let me let's bookmark that there for a moment. Let me fly over here and take a look. I think some of that really looks wrong. Oh, okay. Yep. These wall panels here should really be over in here, and that shouldn't be there. The fence should be there. Okay, so we're gonna have to make some corrections. There should be deep slate tiles down here, and in between here where I've got the red, we want to have that be that wood that was there, and then the dark prismarine that's in front of the window, we want to put that in here. It looks like I made a mistake on that. Looks like I misjudged where the window was from the interior when I was pasting it in. Sorry. That's not a big flaw. It's just an interior detail though. The exterior is perfect. But yeah, we're gonna want to fix that as we go. Sorry about that. So yeah, we do want to have the fence there. We want to have the deep slate tiles down here. Those two trap doors should be right there and right there. And then in front of this, we want to have the horizontal tree trunks right there. And then here's our first access ladder right there. And then over here where this block is, you can break that, and if you want to, you can go ahead and place a door, a spruce door or something right there for access to the room from your battlements. And over here, this is the same deal. You want to make the same correction that we did over there, back over here. Okay, and in the middle, we want to place down these post pads, or the bases of that, just like you see there. We've got, what, trapdoor, and then 2 blocks, a trapdoor. And then in the center line here, we only have 1, and 2, and then 2. And then in between those, we're only going to have 1 block of space where you can place down something there. Just like so. And then you want to do that for all, 16 post bases with trapdoors on all 4 of the bases, just like that. And then we will move on to the next phase. Place down a torch there. Take a look at the exterior first, and then the interior. As I said, you can break that out if you want to place a door right there instead of that. And then that's our other side of the center line. So in here, we of course want to make the correction by shift all of this over there and shift those trapdoors over here. Interior of the walls, we want to put on the nice dark prismarine. Just like so, and extend up all of the spruce tree trunks. Like so, making our correction that we did, shifting the places of the trapdoors in the walls. And for all the post pads, just extend those up by 1 block, just like that. All right, next phase, torch on the center line. Taking a look at the exterior sections only. You want to build the exterior sections as a shell, and then behind that you can build the interior. Of course, if you're in a hurry and want to do a budget version of the walls, you can forget the interior entirely, if you're so inclined to do that. I would not blame you. Diorite crenellations right there. And then the torch on the other end of the center line, so of course that means we go on to the next phase. Oh, and for the interior, it's really simple. Just extend up everything. You can see here we're just extending up the walls and we're extending up the middle post for the last phase and for this one. So we don't really need to take a look at it. You're just stacking it up 1 and 2 more block levels. All right, and here we are finishing off the top level of our crenellations with the diorite right there. So for the rest of the video, we'll be focusing only on the main body of the tower itself, now that we've done the little attached wall segments right here. Alright, so like I said, the interior is just going straight up. The post, the prismarine, and the 4 ladders. Alright, interior here. Throw down a torch on the center line. Take a look at the exterior. We've got some different interior detailing we'll take a look at momentarily. And like I said, our crenellations are now finished, so we're just going to be scanning along the walls of the side walls. All right, just like so. Now let's take a look at the interior of that. You remember we're shifting all of this over there, and shifting out those 2 over here and there. Otherwise, you want to extend up the walls just like so. Some simple thing. Make the correction there. And on the interior here, we want to extend up all the posts by another block. And here we have the lowest levels of what is going to be the paper lanterns hanging down. We can't build an Asian theme structure without some of these characteristic paper lanterns, now can we? So you can see here they're just in the 4 corners, just right there in the middle. Just place down your sea lantern blocks and then hang some red banners off the sides. You can use a different color of banner if you want to. You don't have to use red. But I chose, a nice good Ming red color for the paper lanterns. I thought it's a nice contrast to the dark jade on the wall. We want to have some Imperial Chinese, some Ming red color on that. Although I think yellow is actually the Imperial color. So you could use that if you wanted to in place of the red. It might clash a little bit with the green, though. That's just an aesthetic choice that I made. I'll leave it up to you, whatever color you want your paper lanterns to be. You could even make them another green color if you wanted to match the walls, but, I'll let you decide. As always, my materials here are just a suggestion. You can always substitute the blocks for any other type of wood, stone, or whatever else that you want to have. Exterior of the wall now. Well, I guess it's more of the tower. We finished the wall segments. We're just building the rest of the body of the tower. Then we'll have quite a few phases of that, and then the rest of it will be just all of the superstructure of the building itself. All right, simple exterior. Moving here to the interior. I think we're now above the level where I made this mistake. So it all should be fine now. I always try to catch these mistakes before I make the tutorials, but sometimes, sometimes I'll miss something. If it's a very big structure, I'll miss little details here and there. But I will generally catch them when I'm doing the tutorial, and I'll explain how to fix and show you how to fix it. It's only been a few times there have been mistakes so big I would cancel the recording and just make a new one. But if it's just little things like that, I won't do that. Because it would just take too long. So over here we've got, on top of our sea lanterns, we want to place down spruce planks and then another 4 banners on top of those. And the way Minecraft works, it can, we gotta get a darker red on top, so we get a little two-tone effect. For our paper lantern, well, Minecraft, this is as good of a Chinese paper lantern as we can possibly make. I don't think it's too bad. You can kind of tell what it's supposed to be. All right, torch on the center line. Pretty easy detail. Just deep slate straight across there. There we are there. Let's take a look at the interior. We've got upside down spruce stairs now. Right there along the edges with leaving out a hole for the ladder to ascend. On the top of our posts, we want to do 4 trapdoors on all 4 sides, and on top of here we want spruce fences on top of all 4 of those. All right, next phase, you can see we're now putting on a ceiling / floor right there, but let's take a look at the exterior first. Just some simple repeating designs for that. And let's take a look at that from the top down. I think it'd be easier. So you can see here we've got, except for some 4 holes for the ladders, we've got spruce tree trunks. You can see we've got in the middle here, on top of all the pillars. And then connecting the pillars to the walls, we've got the transverse beams there. Tree trunks placed on their sides. And in between those, we have spruce slabs. Right? So if I break down, all down here, you can see what we've got, of course, in the interior here are all spruce slabs. None of those are full blocks. They're all slabs. All right. And that's going to be the ceiling of the first room and also the floor of the next room. So torch on the center line. Building the exterior shell first. And then the simple detailing for the interior. We've got these spruce fences here and there because you remember that's where we're going to have our what are those things called? End rods sitting on top of those. All right, and on the interior here, you can see we've got another batch of posts. You just break the floor open. You see the post we built down there? Those? You can see they're going right up and sitting on top, right here, of the post you already built. So you want to build another set of post bases, and then of course on top of that, we're going to be just putting spruce on top of those. All right, exterior first, though. Now interior. Prismarine on the walls. And you can put the end rods in different places in here if you prefer. Indeed, if you're building it in survival, you probably, you're going to need some lighting around the middle sections, I think, too, to keep things from spawning. But like I said, on top of the post pads that we put down, go ahead and place your tree trunks ascending vertically on top of those for all 16 of those. And I suppose I could remark, if you want to have a little bit more space in the middle, you can delete the 4 interior posts right here. They're not terribly important if you want to have a little bit more interior space. And I would replace this with another tree trunk laid on its side there for those 4 blocks in the middle. Because, it is Minecraft. We can get away without doing the exact structural stuff that we need to. Sunlight's going to fall down on us. Alright, exterior first for the next phase. And the interior. The interior for this, you're just extending everything straight up. The walls and the posts, just like so. Another level with the wood and the prismarine, just like that there. And the ladders. Same deal on the interior for this next phase, too. You can clearly see that. Alright, for the exterior is really simple. We're just doing a big square, maybe it might be a rectangle, actually, of deep slate, couple deep slate, like so. Like that. That'll be one of the easiest phases we do, so I'm not going to spend any time on it. Next phase over here, exterior first. And you can see the interior behind this. We're just doing spruce tree trunks laid down on their sides, and 16 extended straight up in the middle, along with your ladders. All right, next phase. Interior here, upside down, spruce stairs here, and a big square rectangle, whichever one it is, all the way around the room. Just leave holes for your ladders to ascend. And on top of our post here, place the trapdoors again. I think the posts here, these may be just a little bit shorter than the first ones down there. I'm not quite sure. Let me actually measure that. 3, 5, and I think these are 4. Yeah. All right, next phase here. Exterior first. Like so, and then behind that you can see we've got another ceiling slash floor. The ceiling of that, the second room, and the floor of the third room. Just like so, you can see here we've got, I think there's going to be, what, full blocks of spruce along the edges of planks, and in the middle we've of course got the transverse oak beams. And in the middle here we of course have these spruce half slabs again. Just like so. Alright, next phase here. We've got a lot of cobbled deep slate, and then I think it looks like I put a nicer floor for this level here. Back to the deep slate tiles on top of that ceiling there. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Like so, and then back in here you want to just put down a big rectangle of cobbled deep slate, and you can see here the four corners of that will be delineated by your ladders, which are coming up in the four corners of that big rectangle. So in between those, just put down a big slab of deep slate tiles. Next level here, let's start with the top down. We are now getting to the level where we're just about finished placing the wall. I think actually the last phase marks what should be just about the last of the diorite. And from now on, we're going to be doing, it's going to be mostly wood with a bit of prismarine. So, a torch here on the, oh, okay, well that's a mistake. Looks like there are some exposed interior blocks. I'll look ahead a little bit. Yeah. That's going to need to be cobbled deep slate. Whoops. Yeah, all these blocks here. I think it's the trap doors. It messed up the brush. It was supposed to remove that. But all these exterior blocks here, I'll just replace a few of them. Where all this red is, that needs to be cobbled deep slate. Right there. Sorry. But let's scan around the exterior first, and then we'll take a look at the interior of the next level of the building. It's one of these complicated Chinese wooden buildings now, so it's gonna... We can't go too fast. I'm gonna have to slow down a little bit, because it's got an ever-increasing amount of detail until we get to the top of the building now. And this architecture, it has a specific name, but it escapes me at the moment. I used to know what it was, but I didn't. I should have looked at that before I did the video. Note the trapdoors. Well, it looks like there's a few blocks back here that should be something else here too. Those interior air blocks. And then the interior of the building, we have just 6 posts now. And you can see 2 of these are right on our center line. With 2, 3, and then 2 torches worth of space. You can't place anything here where trapdoors are, so I'm not counting that. And then in between here, we've got 3, and then another 2 to get to the wall. Just like so. All right, next phase, going off that foundation we just did, we're now extending up a lot of the wooden body of the building. Right here. And for windows, of course, we don't have glass. We have wooden spruce fences for the lattice work in the windows. Right on the interior here, just simple detailing, really. All right, next phase. Simple interior. We do have a couple of fences here and there that we're going to put end rods on. In the next phase, all right, interior. Remember to extend up your ladders in the four corners of the room now. Next phase. It's mostly going straight up, actually, except for the interior end rods. The rest of it's just going straight up. Nothing too complicated. A few phases that's going to change, though. Indeed, this phase here is just another copy of the one we just did. I'm kind of scanned by it. So you can see we're just extending all the blocks straight up. Next phase here, though. A lot of trap doors on this one. We've got our next set of paper lanterns hanging down on the interior here. You can see they're just spaced equidistant, 4 of those between the 6 pillars. Interior detailing, just some trapdoors. Right there. And you know how to build the paper lanterns. Next phase here. A whole bunch of spruce tree trunks laying on their sides. Let's take a look at that from below. Not very complicated. You can see right there. Let's take a look at the interior, though. So on top of those trapdoors, we've got some upside down spruce stairs. Right there. And you know how to you know how to do the paper lanterns. All right, next phase here. Can't place a torch on that. I'll place one behind it though. So now we've got part of the difficult phase of Chinese/Asian type architecture. With you can see the completed tower roof behind there. And what we're going to be doing now, let's just go over and take a look at it so I can explain. So now we've got probably the difficult phase of the building. We need to build one of these. How Asian roofs are generally done is, well, it's part of the architectural style. They've got a whole bunch of very intricately cut interlocking wooden sections that all stacked on top of each other, and then a heavy tile roof is put on top of that to keep it from shaking apart. Because the idea is behind that, whenever there's an earthquake, the bottom post pads here will wiggle around, and the energy of the earthquake will be distributed through all these stacked logs up here, which will wiggle around too. But the weight of the heavy tile roof on the top of it will keep it all standing. That's the theory behind it anyway. It seems to work well in practice. But over here you can see we've got a series of interlocking spruce stairs, really. Some of these are slabs though, like that one's a slab. I'll just kind of slowly scan along here. You want to slowly interlock your spruce stairs to be in this pattern here. And just turn the corner, do the same. Just like that on the back. That's going to be our center block there. So let's come back up here and now take a look at, we want to do the same behind here with some more stairs. Some of them right side up, some of them upside down. Right there. And now let's take a look at the interior. More stairs. And your ladder right there. It's like so. On the interior here, we want to cap off the posts with our post caps, and goodness, the fences, the spruce fences for the paper lanterns. Been recording a while today, starting to fade a little. So torch on center line. We've got more intricate patterns of upside down and right side upstairs, as well as slabs. We want to do that pattern along here. Don't ask me to explain why they're in these patterns. These are just these are the best rendition I could do of looking at all the real life examples and rendering it down into blocks. Because Minecraft. It's even more intricate than what we can make out of blocks, as most things are. So we have to do our best. And if you get the pattern, just it doesn't have to be exact. Just do the best you can. Because the pattern is so much of a mess in this particular section here that we're working on that I wouldn't notice if I came and inspected your building. All right, back here to the front. More full blocks and upside down stairs, really. Just every other block, like so. For the interior here, extend up the spruce fences. Blanking out again, sorry. Interior here, we've got the upside down stairs right here along the walls. Like these little carved out sections. Not where the ladders are, though. We can't put ladders on stairs. Right there, and on the interior here, just extend all that up. Extend up your 6 posts. All right, more of the complicated stuff now. Torch on the center line. Note the projecting elements here of the slabs. Very important to do on the corners. The corners here are going to be the most difficult sections, because if you look over there, we have all these things poking out. And I don't know the terminology, but they're kind of like they're almost like wooden pins stuck in at various sections to keep the corners from rattling apart. That's the most simplified way I can describe it. But they do give these structures their characteristic appearance. Various designs of those have those. There's not just one way to do the roofs of this type. They come in either more simplified or more complicated versions, depending on how big they are or what style it was. But as far as the style we're going with here, I'm going with more of a more of a Tang Dynasty through to Ming Dynasty version of all that. Although I would say it favors Tang Dynasty more heavily than it would Ming, though, as far as some of the coloration goes, and also with the structure. Like the top decorative finials that we have on the roof are definitely Tang Dynasty, with the graceful swan type versions. And down below here, let's go back over here. The lighting's better. We're going to have some interior beams here. See, just like those. We have the full block, the stair, and the slab. You just want to repeat those and connect those to the outer walls. Just like so. And then behind that on the interior, we have more upside down stairs. Right here in between all that. Just all the way around the room, just repeating pattern. Interior here, extend up the fences and the 6 posts, like so, and we will move on to the next phase. Let's see, where can I find my center line? Right there. And we've got upside down and both right side up stairs, just like so. All right, so now this is one of the more complicated sections here, with a whole bunch of slabs, stairs, trapdoors, and fences. Pretty much the kitchen sink phase. It's got everything. I'm going to go super slow as we look at all this. But remember, once we do one quarter of this, the other the other 3 quarters are going to be exactly the same design, just rotated 90 degrees. Okay. But all the stairs and everything is my Minecraft attempt to replicate all of the blocks that, like I said, they're stacked up and cradled into each other. And just sort of dry stacked. And at various stages, there's going to be these wooden pins that will go into the corners and various other parts. That's what the fences are for, to hold everything together. All right, so let's go back to the front. So for these interior sections, we've just got some simple, well, it's not that simple. We've got some upside down stairs right here. And then in between those, we've got another slab right there. All of these things, they do have architectural turns, but I'm not as well versed in Asian architecture as I am, say, like, Roman or medieval. So I don't know exactly what it's called, otherwise I would shower you with some interesting vocabulary. But for future videos, I'm gonna try and learn that, so I can just, sprinkle it in here and there. All right, so let's take a look at the interior sections now. We've got stairs and slabs right there. For those all along the inside of the room, for every, there's one of those for every 2 blocks. like so. And on the interior, we're of course extending up the fences, and we've got another capping block right there as well. It's not a mistake that we have those trapdoors down there. That's intentional. And then there's 2 blocks, and then there's another one. All right, next phase. There's a lot to this one. A lot to this one. All right, they're along the center line. And now we have one of the parts that really starts to rake out over the building. This is going to be the cross members that we're going to be putting on our roof tiles. Because below the roof tiles, they generally have a wooden sort of structural net, and then they've got the tiles on top of that. There's for sure a word for that, but like I said, I don't remember what it is. You can see here, though, we've got, for the most part, there, all these, it's not going to be plank blocks. It's going to be slabs, and then tree trunks on their sides, and then buttons on the end of those. All along there. And then here we've just got 3 blocks. In fact, let's take a look along the center line first. 3 blocks there, 2 blocks there, and then right along here we have transverse beams, just like we did down there on top of our post on the other 2 rooms down below us. So let's scan along the exterior first. We've got one of these really complicated corners now. Just like that. Just like that there. Then back to this section here. And then, of course, this corner back here is just the same as that one was up there. All right, so that's our center line. So now let's tuck down in here and take a look at the interior of the room. See here, we've got a couple of half slabs right there. Otherwise, the beams for the room, they extend up in this pattern here. Like so. I think it'd be easier if I just show you that from above. The whole section there. All right, let's go on to our next phase here, where we've got quite a lot of obsidian, actually. There's probably entirely too much obsidian for that phase. You can save a bunch if you want to, say, use some blackstone instead of the obsidian for this. Where's our center line? It ought to be right along here. All right, so extending out just right on top of where these projected out, we want to have just a layer of prismarine, and then behind that, you can hold off on placing the obsidian for the moment. We'll look at the next phase, and you can save yourself some trouble, I think. Here we are at the complicated corner again. Remember, it's complicated because Asian roofs, as you get to the corners, they bend up like that. So that's why we have the buttons and the spruce there at that level instead of being flat down there. In other words, we have it flat here, and we're just going to go like that, and like this, and then like that. But yeah, I remember, it's been a couple of years since I designed this, but when I was first putting it together, this was really, really difficult to get all these looking somewhat decent. These curvy sides of the roof there, with all of its various projecting elements and whatnot. Right there. And you want to do this right here, just the same as the one we did over there. And let's pause for a moment and take a look at this in all its messy detail. I would say this is up there in difficulty with, say, if you did the Temple of Time tutorial and you did all that complicated rib vaulting. This is that again. I think it's that level of difficulty. All right, so there's going to be our center line. Let's take a look now at what is going to be the ceiling of the room above. Well, of the room below here. That's what all the planks and the prismarine is for. Let's actually just use our ladder here and descend down and take a look at what that looks like from the interior. See, we have a nice, pleasing jade ceiling. Now we use this for the walls and the rooms below here, but I thought it'd be a nice touch if we put it on the ceiling up there. Kind of lit up, but not terribly lit up, just like so. And yeah, that's going to be all there is for that phase. Let's take a look now at the next one. All right, and we have one last small room to build up there, and that's going to be the last one for that. Let's identify the center line. I think it's going to be right there. Yeah, so you can see right here we have quite a lot of obsidian, but we have the deep slate tiles here, and I think these just have the right amount of contrast between each other to make a nice, pleasing Asian roof tile design. You can use other slabs and other different blocks to, if you want to have like a different colored roof than what I'm presenting here. But you can also see that under here is quite a lot of obsidian that you would never see. So you might want to. That's why I said to wait to this phase to place down the obsidian. And over here we have our roof corners that are curling up, like so. Let's take a look at that from below. Like that. Otherwise, the roof tile, just like all the Roman stuff, the Asian roof tile design is just a repeating design. Somewhat like that. It's got a bit different flair to it, but it's mostly the same. And again, once you do one corner, you know how to do the one back here. All right, so on the interior now, interior section of the room, you can keep track of where you are about where the ladders are poking out. Of that, it's just a simple wooden room, like so. And you want to put 6 more posts here, of course, just like all the others. These posts here are going to be right on top of the ones you put down below there. Although I am missing some trapdoors, it looks like. There should be trapdoors here, 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 and here. I must have missed that when I was building this. So 6 extra trapdoors right there. And that's all there is to it. Let's take a look now at the next phase. You can kind of see now how we have the roof tiles being stacked up, and then the smaller room back behind that. Torch on the center line. And here's the roof tiles back here. And it gets complicated here because remember, we have to curve up the entire roof, and it's already a complicated roof, so we're curving it with the tiles and everything. You can see we've got 45-degree diagonal prismarine right there to help you out a little bit, like so. And once you do one corner, the other 3 are the same. Interior, pretty basic detailing on the interior. It's all tree trunks and planks. Extend up your pillars. All right, next phase here. Let's place a torch on the center line. And this is going to be one of the simpler phases. prismarine, and a whole bunch of planks behind that. 45-degree diagonal here with a couple half slabs. Like so, and very simple interior detailing, just the same as below, just extended up. And a couple of blocks here for ladder access. And this, by the way, is where the ladders end. This is the highest you can, this is the highest you can get up in the building. All right, long way down now. Made a lot of ground today. I'm not sure how long I've been recording for. Over an hour, probably. So torch on the center line, and a bunch of wood. And just a big, I think it's just like a big square. Like so, simple pattern. And we want to extend up the corners here. We'll just block there and a block there. Just like so, all four corners exactly the same. Next level up, you want to finish that off by adding another block of prismarine there. Just this little contrasting detail. There, 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 and there. 4 blocks of prismarine on the corners. And that's all there's to that. Now here you can see, you remember this stuff. Back down here, we're doing another layer of this. That level we did. Well, we're now doing all that insanity again for another roof level, which will cap off the tower. Just like so. Alright, so let's get down here and take a good slow look at it. Mostly stairs, but sometimes a half slab right there. Alright, and simple interior detailing, which is upside down stairs. Here and there, although I think there should really be upside down stairs here in these corners. Not sure why that's missing. I just fill in the corners and extend up the 6 posts. Next phase, more stair insanity. Right here. Like so, and could keep filling in these corners here. I'm not sure why that's missing. With upside down stairs all the way around the room. Just like that. And extend up your 6 posts. Alright, next phase here, torch on the center line. Tree trunks and half slabs. And simple interior detailing here. With upside down stairs on top of all these posts, and then upside down stairs on top of the rest of them. And fill in those corners. Alright, next phase. Now the kitchen sink phase. Fences, trapdoors, upside down stairs, and right side up. And crazy corners. All right, interior, another set of upside down stairs on top of the previous ones, and then tree trunks on their sides for the rest of them. And then for the posts, you want to go ahead and start capping those off with the customary trapdoors. All right, next phase here. Where is the center line? I think it's right there. So let's take a look at that from the top down, actually. So first you can see, I think for this one, let's start from the inside out, actually. The inside, we want to put down the same lattice work of tree trunks on their sides here for all the beams on top of the posts in the center. And then outside of that, you want to go ahead and put down the prismarine. I think that's going to be what, 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks of thickness there. And then on top of that, you can see what we're doing is we have the spruce half slabs and the spruce tree trunks on their sides with the buttons on the end down there overhanging everything. And of course the crazy corners, don't forget those. Is there a tree trunk missing in that one? I almost think there is. I feel like there should be a tree trunk there. Because those should be symmetrical in the 45 degree. Yeah. Another one there too. And that's the other end. Next phase. I think that's the center line. So we got another one of these phases where there's entirely too much obsidian. So we might want to hold off on that for the next one. But you need to cap off the interior of the room on that. And you can just do that by putting down a big slab of dark prismarine right there in the middle to cap off that room. And that's going to be it for that interior. All right, a bit more of the crazy corners. Right there. Take a look at that from below. And then the sides are pretty much just a straight shot of prismarine, and then just back to the corner. All right, next phase, building our very last roof of the building that you thought we'd never get here. Torch on the center line. Right there, and if you want to, I did put a little structural element in the roof back up here. This is entirely superfluous. You don't have to build any of this up here. You're never going to see it. There's no way to access it. But like, this is the very center point of the building right here, by the way, where the two center lines converge on each other. Otherwise, you can just build the shell of the roof tiles back out here. And the last little bits of the crazy corners. And then just the repeating pattern of the roof tiles. All right, next phase. I'll try and keep track of the center line. Right there, let's take a look at the roof tiles though. The exterior, this level here. And then remember, we're bending them up on the edges, just like we did down there. We're going to do that one last time. Back up there, and there's just a little extra space at the room up here at the top. It's not really important to build it this way. It's just extra. Like maybe this would be a good place if you want to have like a little secret room or a little hidey hole for something. It's be a good place for that. I don't know how you're gonna get up here, except if you know elytra and then like have a secret hole somewhere. I'll let you work out how to do that. All right, torches along our central line. We can go ahead and finish up this little room just about. We've got some. It's a very, very tiny room. In fact, I don't think I can even. Let me break some. Yeah. Just a very tiny attic space. All right, repeating pattern here for the roof tiles. Lots of prismarine along the diagonal. Right here, do notice the projecting prismarine that we had back down there. That's a characteristic of the roofs. It does have to have that. That's not a mistake. Right there, next phase. So torches along our center line. And then you just cap that off with some, well, there's stairs here, but you can cap that off with full blocks of spruce. Right there for that, and then in front of that are all the remainder of the roof tiles. We're in the home stretch now. I'm glad we've been able to fit all this into one video. The little 2-block decorative finials, just like we had down there for that, we're going to be doing again up here. Like so. Next phase here, go ahead and place your 4 blocks of prismarine on the top of the corner there, on all 4 of those corners. And that's going to be that finished. Let me just continue to mark our center line out with some torches. And perhaps the top down. We'll just take a look at that real quick. And a little closer. And then from the side. Now we do have a couple of blocks of prismarine out here on these edges now. We have, there's going to be some little decorative curly things as we get up towards the top. Fence there. Like so. Next phase here. It's all roof tiles now. Sometimes the tiles are directly on top of the previous one. Because of the shape, this has to, it's not like a Roman roof. It's more flat here, but it curves more as you get to the top. Right here. So that's why we end up with these half slabs on top of the obsidian up here. And these 2 blocks here for the little decorative curly things. Up here. We're going to have 4 of those. A little attic vent up there at the top. Like so. And that's all there is to it. We can make some pretty quick progress now because we're just doing now the top. Just right along that line there. It's just prismarine and deep slate tiles, really. That's all we've got left to do. Right there on the top. Next phase, of course, this has to bend down in the middle. It sags down a little. Just a bit. Just a tiny bit. As it goes. Like so, with the prismarine like that there. And then the next phase after that, a bit more prismarine. Dark prismarine. 5 blocks there, with 1 block there of regular prismarine on the end. Because now we're forming these 2 decorative swan heads at the top that are going to be looking at each other. Well, that's a 2-block section. Oops. Okay, we get another one of these 2-block sections right here. It's not real complicated though. It's just a couple of blocks we got left. I think you can manage it. Like so. I mean, you know, Minecraft. It's all we got is blocks, so this is as good of a swan head as I can do. And I believe that the swan head capitals are from the Tang Dynasty. Specifically, I took that from the Da Ming Palace because I liked it better than the later ones. It was just a little bit more elegant and graceful, I thought. And just a couple blocks prismarine right there, like so. And then 2 final blocks of regular prismarine right there on the top of those. And then you stare at it, you can kind of see, you know, just pretend it's a swan head. And once you have done that, your extremely complicated Asian roof design for the Wanli Chang Ching will be complete.